The purpose of these tutorials is basically to help you understand that you don't have to have the heavy hitting software if you need to do some simple type design or build a logo, or I don't know, the possibilities are only limited to what your creative capacities are. Most people don't have access to high-end softwares like Photoshop and some of these others, but most everyone has a copy of PowerPoint on their computer, and it's actually kind of surprising what it offers. Now, I'm using Microsoft PowerPoint for Mac 2011 edition, and whenever you open it up initially, you have this screen. Let's just choose a white background and open it up. Now, this is your basic layout. When you first open it up, what I like to do personally, this is just my preference, is I like to get rid of these text boxes because they seem to clutter everything up and they'll get in the way, because text is usually the last thing I add. Let's go over some of the basics. When you look at the window, you have a lot of information here. Most people think of this as just as presentation software that it was annoying and you had to learn it in school or whatever, or you have to do office presentations or you have to endure them whenever someone else makes them. But it's actually, there's a lot more capabilities to this program than you would imagine. You have your home tab. If you don't have that up, all you have to do is click it, it'll drop down. When you add text, you have all of the capabilities of Microsoft Word, if you're familiar with that. You have your insert tab here with text box, picture to insert pictures, shapes, you'll be using that a lot, and the picture, media, and then you have your arrangement tab. This is a very important thing to remember where it is. It's easy to forget sometimes. Themes, you don't really use. You want, well, for our properties, for our purposes, you're not going to use that very often. Nah, actually, you won't use most of these very much. The only ones that I really stay on is home and format, and we don't have a format up yet, so I'll show you that in a minute. You come up here, you have file, which you save things, and I'll show you there's a specific way to save your images as images instead of saving them as PowerPoint presentation slides. Come over to view, and this is very important. You come down on view, you can turn on your ruler, and you can use that as a guide to help you find your place on the page. And go to guides. You have a dynamic guide, a static guide, snap to grid, snap to shape. The static guides I like because it gives you this crosshairs on the page, and it helps you get everything centered when you need to get things centered, and whenever it's important to have things symmetrical. I like to build with this here. Insert, you have this drop down, you use that sometimes if you need it. Format, arrange, tools, slideshow. Most of this you're not going to need for what we're doing. To begin with, let's look at some of the options that we have when it comes to our inserts, because those are going to be what we're going to be using predominantly. You have your text boxes. You just select the text box. You'll have this little A with a odd cursor thing that replaces your cursor. You take and drag it however big you want your text box. Okay, you'll have this come up with your text box, and then you just type into your presentation. I mean, however you want to do it. Basically, that's all there is to that. When you click off, it lets you get around that. When you click on it, you can drag it around the screen. You can put it wherever you need to. You have these options of font increase, decrease, everything that Microsoft Word has. But this right here, this button is very important. It's a format button. You click that, and this menu pops up. The shape styles over here, they affect the text box, and only the text box. The text styles affect the text, and we'll get into that deeper in the future. Okay, let's go back to home. Select there, drag it over here out of the way, and we're going to look at the picture inserts. So you click that, the drop down menu brings up all of these. If you need to use clip art, you can use clip art, just insert it in here, and then do what you need to with it. You have a lot of options with that, but sometimes that's just not the best idea. Open up photo from file. It brings up this pop-up menu where you choose your picture and you choose your file, which whenever you're looking at things, you can save them in ways that you can access them easily. And go from there. I've got a whole bunch of family stuff, and we'll go over some of the capabilities of this in a little bit too. But you just click on it, insert it, and then you can adjust the size. Shapes. You have a lot of different shapes that you can throw in there, and you can do a lot of editing to those. One thing that if you're not sure what you need to begin with, if you just click the shape browser at the bottom, it brings all of these up, and it shows you all the options you have to just start creating something. Now your arrangement tab is very important. I'm going to show you why real quick. Let's just start building some rectangles. We'll build one. We'll go to format. That way we already have that page up. Okay. Command D. Once it's selected, you hit Command and D, and it duplicates that image. Oops, I grabbed the wrong thing there. Let's put it back. It duplicates that image, that shape, and then let's make it a different color. Let's make it black, and then do the same thing again. Let's make it, let's say red. Do it again. Let's make that one purple. Why not? Okay, now your arrangement tab, it is important because it allows you to, I'll bring this one up because I'll be adjusting it. It allows you, when you hit reorder, to reorder your objects. Now you have one option of doing this, which allows you to just drag it into the place that you want it. It gives you a really cool visual representation of that, and then just OK or cancel for whatever you're doing. But a simpler way to do it is these right here. It says bring to front, send to back, bring forward, send backwards. If you want to send a image or a shape all the way to the very back of the page, because it's the base, it's your background that you need on the very back, then go to reorder and go to send to back. And it sends it behind everything else on the page, including the text, including everything. But if you realize that that's too far back, then, well, there's another way to get to it. I'll show you that in a second. But you go to reorder, bring forward. Now it's in front of the text. Bring forward. It'll come in front of that. Bring forward. It'll come in front of the next one. And so on and so forth. And this allows you to layer your images in an effective manner. But that's an introduction to the program and how to get in there and start, just playing around. But I recommend just play around a lot. Try to see what you can do. Try to see what you can't do. Try to see what it allows you to do. I mean, we're going to explore some of that in a moment, or as we progress. But it's actually a really capable software if you are willing to invest the time and creativity into it.